Welcome, church, to our Bethany Devotional. Just like everyone else, there are times when everything in life seems great. But from time to time, we do feel discouraged or fatigued by the stress in our new normal lifestyle, or when we feel overwhelmed because the situations are out of our control. In 1 Samuel chapter 30, David and his men had just successfully returned from war. However, when they came back home, they found that the Amalekites had attacked it, burnt it to the ground, and took captive of their families. His men were so upset and angry over the situation that they unleashed their anger on David and even tried to stone him. But the Bible tells us that David strengthened and encouraged in the Lord his God. So, whenever we feel discouraged, fatigued, or overwhelmed, we really need to know how to encourage ourselves in the Lord. So firstly, be careful of what we listen to. Words are powerful, and just like David, if we only listen to all the wrong things that are happening around us, it can distract us and create so much noise and turmoil around us that we lose sight of the Lord, or even find our faith grow dim. We can be swayed and influenced, either positively or negatively, by the words around us. Luke 8:18 tells us, "Therefore, consider carefully how you listen. Whoever has will be given more. Whoever does not have, even what they think they have, will be taken from them." So we must have a teachable heart to listen to God's voice. We must remind ourselves that God is always with us and loves us. We also need to tune out any voices that are shouting shame, condemnation, or confusion in our lives. These voices are not from God. Instead, God's voice always brings love, hope, peace, and direction. Next, position ourselves for an encounter with God. We often hope that God will show up in a dramatic way to change us or our situation. But most blessings and breakthroughs happen when we position ourselves in the Word and in God's presence. Every one of us can have encounters with God. After all, He promises us in Psalms 32 verse 8, saying, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye." I had a personal encounter with God a few years ago. When faced with a major illness, I positioned myself to seek God. I read through all the Gospels and studied every verse about healing. I went to church often, listened to many sermons, and prayed. When my eyes were positioned on God, I had a miracle and was healed. So lastly, surround ourselves with the right people. One of the worst things to do when we are already discouraged is when we spend time with people who will discourage us even more. Proverbs 13:20 says that he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. So, when we choose to surround ourselves with good and wise family members or friends, they will build us up, support us, and encourage us on our path towards our destiny. They will also help to pull us towards God's plan for our life, not away from it. So, no matter what you are facing personally or professionally right now, let's learn to be encouraged. Let's be careful to only hear God's voice, position ourselves to encounter God, and surround ourselves with the right friends and family members who encourage us. You will then have victory after victory. God bless and have a great week ahead.